Hello, Mr. Smith. Our domination of Western Canadian farmers seems secure. We have managed to rig yet another election.
Slow down, young man. I know you are new at the CWB, so you are not familiar with our policies, but don't ever talk like that, especially in public.
I'm sorry, sir. What I meant to say is that it was pure genius to allow absentee landlords to vote in the CWB director elections and to not put a limit on how much grain you need to grow to get a vote. It's too bad the mail was late coming from the geriatric hospital in Arizona, otherwise we may have been able to keep Henry Voss out.
See to it that does not happen again, but I agree the board has no greater friend than retired Arizona living absentee landlords.
Well, gloating is fun, but I assume you wanted to talk to me about something else.
I did. You see, the board has a bit of a problem. We are becoming more and more irrelevant to Canadian agriculture as a whole. Farmers don't make any money growing wheat because they are such poor managers, and more of them are gravitating towards other crops.
I know what you are talking about. In the last Western Producer there was an article projecting more canola acres in Canada than wheat acres.
I would have thought we bought enough advertising from them to keep articles like that out. I have our legal team looking at a libel lawsuit against them.
Too bad truth is a defense against libel.
I know. I'd like to get that changed as well. Anyways, we need to find ways to increase the board's power and control.
I have an idea, sir, and it fits nicely with the board's philosophy. How about a mandatory minimum wheat percentage for every farm?
You are thinking too small, young man. I want to think bigger, much bigger. Bigger than the Wheat and Canadian Wheat Board.
Oh. What do you intend to do?
I am going to convince the government to let the board market all of the real estate in Canada as well as all of the wheat.
What?
I told you to think big. Don't tell me you are thinking in Eskimo.
No, sir. I'm all ears. What is your great plan?
We will apply exactly the same model that we apply to marketing wheat to marketing real estate.
Everything?
Absolutely everything. There is no better way of marketing than to give a central planning agency a monopoly over an essential product. Look at the efficiencies in Cuba and North Korea. I can hardly wait to get started.
Up, sir.
Don't interrupt. This is an Archimedes. Eureka moment.
Sir, please.
You young people have no respect. Well, what is it? Well, has an iceberg got your tongue? Speak.
Well, sir, I don't know how to say this. I love the board, but I just bought a house.
Oh, you silly boy. I said exactly like the board. Much like BC and Ontario don't have to sell through the CWB, we will not include neighborhoods where we live in this exciting project.
Okay, sir. That sounds great. Let's get started.
Okay, here is how it will work. If you want to sell your house, you will have to get a permit book. After you get your permit book, the board will determine whether or not there is sufficient demand for your house. If the board feels there are too many houses for sale, you will not be allowed to sell your house except for scrap. This would be similar to a farmer selling his wheat for feed because he needs the money.
Ha ha ha.
If we decide we can sell it, then we will call your house and you will be allowed to sell it. This would apply to builders, contractors, homeowners, everybody. Without a monopoly, this will never work.
Of course, sir.
We will determine the grade on all houses and the price will be set by the number of bedrooms. There will be one price for one bedroom and another price for 2 bedrooms and so on. The maximum value for a house will be for a 5-bedroom house.
Sir, I like that idea, but what about people who own a 6 or 7-bedroom house?
Do you have ice in your ears, son? Protein premiums stop at 15.5%. Why shouldn't house prices stop at 5 bedrooms?
But what about people who have done extra things to improve the value of their house, like putting in hardwood floors or a fireplace?
You sound like you were talking Eskimo, son. We don't allow that sort of thing in the wheat market, and we are not going to compromise and allow it in the real estate market. The only fair way to do things is to price houses based solely on the number of bedrooms.
What about location, sir?
What about location?
House values usually change from neighborhood to neighborhood.
That is exactly the kind of injustice we are trying to stop. One price for every house. We need to bring fairness back to the housing market.
How will people get paid?
I am glad you asked. We will use the pool system, of course. Suppose you want to sell a 3-bedroom house. We will provide a housing return outlook. This number will be our projection on the average of all the 3-bedroom houses that will sell in the next 12 months. It will just be a guess, of course. People will have no idea what they're actually going to get.
Ha ha ha.
The CWB will throw in a bunch of confusing price options. They will be a bad deal. But some people will use them because they are scared to sell something when they don't know what they are going to get for it.
Okay, sir, I have just had a great idea. We could use the housing return outlook to manipulate builders and contractors into building lots of houses for us to sell. We will announce a high HRO in the spring so a lot of builders start building similar houses. Then we will blame the builder for building too many houses and we will have plenty of volume for us to move at a low price.
Son, you just had your own Archimedes. Eureka moment. If this plan falls through, you will make an excellent Durham marketer. Back to our payment method. We will pay the owner approximately 20% of the value of his house when the new people move in. Over the next 16 months we will slowly pay out money to the owner, finally culminating in a final payment by which time you have completely forgotten that you had sold the house in the first place.
Do you think it will be hard for homeowners to sell a house if they don't know if the sale will cover their mortgage?
I don't really care. Remember, the goal is to mirror the board's grain marketing system as closely as possible. The homeowner can sell extra assets on eBay to make his mortgage payments while he is awaiting a year and a half for his money.
That's a good solution, sir. It has worked for prairie farmers for over 67 years.
Exactly.
How will this be enforced?
Same way as we enforce the CWB now. The threat of jail time if you sell your own home. This is the only way to keep things fair for everyone.
Sir, this is a brilliant idea. Bringing real estate under the board will not only keep the board relevant, but it will also allow Canadians to experience the benefits of the Canadian Wheat Board firsthand.